Hello, one and all, and welcome to another episode of MMA Vision Analysis. This one, I'm here to talk about Kevin Lee, his possible comeback, and him recently announcing that he is coming back and he's officially not retired and will fight again, hopefully sometime 2024. But before getting started, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click that notification to get all of this that is new from this channel, your channel, the one and only MMA Vision Analysis. I remember a time about 3 or 4 years ago, maybe a little longer than that, where Kevin Lee had a lot of hype behind him, where it was made out to be as if this guy was going to be one of the top contenders in that lightweight division. Time proved otherwise. I think that takes nothing away from the guy. He's still relatively young, and I think he has a lot of years left to prove his worth in that lightweight division. Recently, he's been talking about possible matchups for his possible comeback. I know Tony Ferguson has been named. I also know that Conor McGregor has been named. And in all honesty, I'm not a fan of Tony Ferguson fighting anymore in any shape or form, to be honest. Just because I hate to see the guy taking punishment. I know his last performance was better than the previous few before that. But still, I would hate to see Tony Ferguson back in the octagon. I know he's defeated Kevin Lee a couple years back, and Kevin Lee perhaps wants to revenge that loss. I don't think it's a good idea for Tony Ferguson to step back in the octagon. Obviously, we don't know. There's obviously a possibility of that happening. I doubt that he will fight Kevin Lee, even if he was to come back and fight. So I really think Kevin Lee, Tony Ferguson is a bad matchup. I think anybody at this point for Tony Ferguson is a bad matchup. No disrespect to El Kukui, one of my favorite fighters of all time. I think the fight with Conor McGregor is the one that makes more sense. These two guys are somewhat on the same page. Both have been out for a certain amount of time. And I think for comebacks, Kevin Lee versus Conor, so many matchups that are possible for Conor McGregor. But I think in order for Conor to come back and gain any kind of rhythm, he has to face somebody who's been in the same form as he has. I don't think it's fair for Conor to fight a Michael Chandler or Justin Gaethje, or I don't know how much sense a fight with Dustin Poirier makes. So I do understand that there's a lot of possible matchups for Conor, but I hate to see Conor go in there with a fighter who's been more active than he has and take another loss. I just hate to see Conor lose again. I hate to see Tony Ferguson. These are guys that have already created their legacy in the game, and I hate to see that legacy being somewhat tarnished by these unnecessary losses to fighters they shouldn't be in the octagon with. I do understand that in the UFC, you're always going to get wild matchups, and we don't expect these guys to turn down any matchup. All of these guys have heart, but I think the wise fight to make is Kevin Lee, Conor McGregor, UFC 300. I do understand that this is far from reality, at least in terms of anything being official, but personally, I think this is a great matchup because both of these guys have been recently inactive. Their form has been somewhat shaky, or perhaps for sure shaky, the past few years that they have been active. So it only makes sense for these guys to face each other, and I think it will be a well-contested fight. If you made it this far, I appreciate you for sticking around. Please let me know what you think in the comments and subscribe for more.